Morning, David out there bushcraft. Beautiful day in the woods again. I always say that, it's always true. We're just going to do a little bit of work around the site today, bit of tidying up and so on. It's been quite busy for us, so we just need to do a little bit of maintenance on the site. And while I'm here, I'm going to show you the way I set up a pot crane for cooking over the campfire. Obviously there are lots of different ways of doing it. I'm not saying this is the best, but this is the way that I usually use. Lots of variations, of course. So I'll just show you how this one works and see what you think. It might be something that you set up next time you're out there in the woods cooking up a meal for yourself or your family or whatever. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay then, so we're going to do this campfire crane, pot crane, whatever you might call it. As I said, there are lots of different ways of doing it. I'm just going to show you mine. I've been out and harvested the materials I need, and basically that is one long straight sturdy stick like this, which I've beveled at one end for hammering the ground and pointed at the other end, or chiselled rather, just to make it a little bit more resilient as it drives through the ground. Then there's a very specific shaped stick really, so you might have to look around a little bit. Of course you can, you know, I've got a forked end here and you could tie a fork on if you need to, but I've harvested some sycamore here, and the sycamore is there to be harvested. It has been kind of cleared over a period of time, so it's a pretty good source of timber for us when we don't have any hazel here. What you're looking for then is this kind of shape with a notch there. I've extended this out slightly, I'll show you why. Effectively you're going to have the crane set up in a position something like that. So I've left the handle out there, which I'll explain later. You extend this out a little bit. I've cut a notch here, you don't have to, but I usually do. And so that's the other stick that you need to get hold of. So you're looking for something that's in the ground, looking something similar to that if you can, and then just one extra bit that I'll need to create a little J so that it can be adjustable. And it's always nice to be able to make it adjustable, although if you can't make it adjustable, of course, you can make an adjustable pot hanger to go on the end, which I'll show you maybe in a different video. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do then is hammer this into the ground. I'm going to put it in the corner because that's typically not where anybody sits, so it's not going to be taking up any room that somebody else might want if they want access to the fire. So I'm going to knock it into the corner of the fire pit area. The fire obviously going there, which is the reason why I've made this the length I have. So let's bash that in and see where we go next. Alright, and to bash it in, I've got my basher. Okay, so I'll knock that into the ground and we'll take it from there. Just give me a second while I adjust the camera. Steven Spielberg, watch out. Okay, so into the corner here, give it a bit of a bash. As I said, it needs to be a pretty sturdy stick. I'm not looking to fell a great oak or anything, but something of this sort of size that I can give a bit of a bash into the ground without chipping my knuckles. That's pretty sturdy. Okay, the next thing that's going to happen is I want this to sit in that position. Okay, now something needs to attach it to here, and you could just tie it on. Obviously it wouldn't be adjustable then without loosening the ties all the time, but you could just tie it on and have the adjustability at the end with a pot hanger with notches that could go on here. But I tend to like to make it adjustable at this end. You can see now why I've left this handle, so it allows me to rotate it, but also I can hang other things on there if I need to, so nothing's really getting in the way too much. The only thing you have to be cautious of with the handle is people going by and brushing it and knocking your pan and spilling your broth and all that kind of thing, which would upset you. But other than that, it's pretty much a useful way to go. Okay, so what I need to do now then is tie another stick onto here to create a J which will hook in, and then it will all just sit nicely together, and I'll show you how to do that now. Right, I'm just going to tie the stick above where the fork is. Okay, so I've got the fork here. I'm going to tie the stick just onto here, and it's dead simple. What I'll do is I'll start off with a little timber hitch here, or archers amongst you might well call it a bowyer's hitch, I suppose. It is used by archers and bow makers and so on. So all I'm doing is I've wrapped the string round itself, and then I'll loop it back on itself a few times. Make sure you loop it back on itself and not on the rope that it's wrapped around, otherwise you won't be getting a timber hitch and you won't get the friction required. So it will look, when it's done, something like that. The rope has come round itself and then back again, and that will cinch in nice and tight. It's a nice way to start my knot. Now then, the next thing I'm going to do is place what's going to be the J effectively right against it, and just take it round both of them nice and tight. Let's say 4 or 5 times, just until feels like it's holding reasonably tight. Okay, now obviously that's going to move quite a lot, but you're going to use that to your advantage in a second. So let's get to that stage where it's all round, nice and neat. I tend to keep things neat. That's usually a bit more efficient and works a little bit better. So once it's like that, I'm just going to tilt that forward slightly, and it will open up this gap and allow me to take the rope inside between the two and between the two again. These are called frapping turns, and all I'm doing here is just by taking it round maybe 3 times, just binding it nice and tight, then that will tend to mean it's not going to slip too much. And then all I'm going to do then is finish it off with a couple of half hitches. So there's a half hitch there, pull it nice and tight. There's a half hitch there, pull it nice and tight, and maybe an extra one just for good measure, so I'm feeling generous. Pop one on there, so that's nice and tight. Okay, and now what I've got effectively is the J that I'm going to need to be able to hang the pot from. Okay, right then, so I've now got my pot hanger. I've got this extended end, I've got my little Y there, and then the notch, if you want or don't, for hanging the pot, and the upright, and here's our J. And all I'm going to do is position the J over the top, pop that into place, and there's my pot hanger ready to go. I've got adjustability because I can just move it up and down, and all I have to do is tilt it slightly or raise that edge, slide it to where I want it to be, and I can adjust the height, and it's ready to go. Okay, I can hang my pots here. One of the important things I think is to ensure that you get this in reasonably straight, otherwise you'll get what I'm about to get here, I've noticed, lower down, which is it will swing. So just make sure you've got that in nice and level so you don't get that swinging action. Once you've got that in position, then you can hang your pot on here. You'll see it'll take a little bit of weight, and then I'll be able to rotate that round to where I want it, directly over the fire, so I'll be able to do my cooking. Okay, and of course the beauty of this is I can just leave it here and use it whenever I use this campsite. So there you go, that is a camp crane. Yes, there are lots of different ways of doing it, so if you have a different way to do it, please let me know. You know, this is a opportunity for everybody to share and for everybody to learn, and I'm always learning, and I'm really keen to learn from others. So if you have another way of doing it, just let me know. Comments below, of course, as always. Equally, I really do appreciate when we get those likes and subscribes and so on. That's really useful for us. You know, please do that. If that seems like something that you're happy to do, and otherwise get yourself out there and maybe try the Campfire crane, and you know, you can cook your dinner on the fire in this way. Okay, take care, see you again soon.